Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brian. I can't see who's on YouTube, but good morning. Feel free to comment in the chat and say good morning to me because I'm actually missing people a lot right now. I am a super introverted person. So like the first 3 weeks of this social distancing, I was okay with. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And now I'm actually starting to really miss people. So, and I miss seeing you all. So good morning. We're going to start in 2 minutes. You can find anything that resembles a block. My yoga teacher actually mentioned a tissue box, like one of the longer ones. So that's actually a really good idea. You could use books, whatever resembles like a rectangle shape type of object. And then grab a couple towels. So you can have like, this size towel, pretty larger towel, shower towel. And then just fold it up for now. We're going to make a couple rolls to support you in a couple poses and positions. And then grab a belt or strap, anything that resembles a belt, like so. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Jeremy. Hola. Mwah, mwah. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Neil. So excited. Okay. So get your props if you're just joining us. Again, something that resembles a belt, a couple towels, maybe get 3 towels, and then a couple blocks or anything that resembles a block. When you do a gentle flow or like a restorative type of practice, it's always good to have some props available because we can prop you up and put them in a fashion to where it makes the pose more restorative and relaxing rather than you using your muscles to do the pose. We're still going to use our muscles, okay? Sorry if Ryan is here. It's not going to be fully restorative, but it's going to be good. Okay, let's get started. Oh, let me light my candles for ambiance. I forgot to do that. All right, so as we get started, I just want you to come to a seated position and sit on something. So a block between your ankles, so you're sitting on your shins, or you're sitting cross-legged with a block underneath of you, or take one of those towels I asked you to get and fold it up, and you can sit on that, but a towel does just fine. Fold it up. And whatever comfortable seated position you're in, just place your hands right above your knees and sit up tall. So we're going to start off, I typically start off every Saturday morning with a guided meditation. So you're going to hear me talk and guiding you through a meditation practice. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to have silence for about 2 minutes to allow you to just be present and in the moment. And then once that is up, I will do my little chimes. So you'll hear that. Okay, don't let it startle you. I'll do that 3 times, and then we'll come out of our meditation, and we will start our beginner's practice. So just sit up tall. And so we will be sitting for about 5 minutes. So if you're on your shins right now, like this, your knees might start to hurt. You might start to lose feeling in your feet. So you can always move. Like meditation is not about sitting as still as you possibly can. You can move. It's about being present. It's about being in this moment. And Winnie is coming to join us finally for our meditation. You do want to focus on sitting up tall because as you lengthen your spine and sit up tall, it allows you to breathe better. If you hunch over and kind of practice that for a second, it doesn't feel good, but it's also harder to breathe. So sitting up tall and throughout the practice, bringing your attention to that area, because a lot of times, myself included, start to round a little bit, coming back into it and lifting up. Okay, so what I want you to do is just gaze forward a few feet in front of you. So your eyes are half open and half closed. Hands still resting on your knees. Breathing normally through your nose. So I like the half eye open because you're still present and aware. You're not focusing on anything specifically, you're just gazing forward. And then just focus on your breath and feel your breath as it comes in through your nostrils, filling up your belly with air. And then feel the breath in the air as you breathe out. Do that a few times, just recognizing the air as it comes in, filling your belly up, and recognizing it as it comes out. And slowly close your eyes. Just continue to focus on your breath. I want you to take yourself to a place that makes you feel safe, brings you joy. It could be the forest, it could be the ocean, it could be the mountains. Just start to recognize your surroundings. What colors do you see? What do you feel? Do you feel sand on your feet? Do you feel grass underneath your feet? Do you feel maybe rocks? Recognizing how that makes you feel. And start to recognize what's above you, looking up. If you're outside, looking up at the sky, the clouds, recognizing the colors. And focus on the smells. What do you smell in this place that you've taken yourself to? Do you smell salty air from the beach? Crisp, fresh air in the mountains? Maybe it's the smell of food because you're on a boardwalk or something at the beach and that's your safe place. Whatever it is, focus on those smells. Feel what that makes you feel inside. And still sitting, but in your mind, allow yourself to lie down in this place that you've put yourself in. And allow yourself to relax, to melt down into the earth, into the ground, wherever you are. Releasing any tension that you have in your body. At the same time, releasing that tension as you sit in your space. Feel the earth beneath you. And then recognize the temperature. Do you feel warm? Do you feel cool? Is there a breeze? And allow that to touch your skin. And take a deep breath in and breathe in all the air that surrounds you in this space. And then release the air and breathe out. Take another deep breath in, filling up your entire body with air. Breathing in this safe place that you brought yourself to. Holding it in. And then exhaling and releasing and breathing it all out. Releasing the tension as you breathe out. Just allow yourself to stay here for a few moments, being present. Take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And then just breathe normally. And very slowly, just start to your eyes open. Going slow. Good. And then you can move your gaze. You can move your arms a little bit. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head. And then take your right hand and grab on. And then think about lifting your left arm up and then just side bending over to your right. Inhale, come to the center, switch sides, left hand, right wrist. Lift your right arm up as you side bend to your left. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Grab onto opposite elbows. So you're cupping your elbow into your palms and lift up from your elbows. So it's not like you're lifting your shoulders up. You're just lifting up from your elbows and from the sides of your waist. Keep your sit bones pressing down into whatever you're sitting on. And then lift up to your elbows and then exhale, side bend to your right again. Inhale to the center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale to the center. Switch the position of your arms. So you're still going to grab your elbows, but you're changing what arm is in front. I know it's going to feel a little bit weird. And then your exhale, you're just going to twist from your upper torso to your right. Gently. Inhale to the center. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale to the center. Let's do that one more time. Twist to your right. Just gently. You don't have to twist too deep. Inhale to the center. Exhale, twist to your left. Perfect. Inhale, come to the center. Reach your arms up. Exhale, release your hands down. Bring your arms out into a T shape. And then exhale, hug yourself. So give yourself a nice big hug. And what you want to think about, my cat is getting into stuff. You want to think about your hands going toward your shoulder blades, but you don't want to cut off your breathing. So if you feel stressful, just release your hands a little bit and think about your shoulder blades going towards each other and relaxing your shoulders. So there's a lot of this sometimes that happens. So we'll just relax your shoulders down. Think about what arm is on top right now. Inhale, arms back out. Exhale, switch the arm that's on top. You don't want to round your back in order to do this. So keep your sit bones pressing down and lift up through your waist. Good. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, bring your hands down. Come into a tabletop position. You can move your props out of the way for now. We'll make a roll in a second. Hands are on the floor. The tops of your feet and shins are on the floor. Knees are hip-bone distance apart. Turn your hands slightly out and spread your fingers. And then make sure that your wrist, elbows, and shoulders are in one line. Press down into the tops of your feet and your shins. So that way you're not all like in your knees, because that can feel a little bit bad. If your knees still feel bad when you press your shins down, you can put a towel or something underneath your knees for support. I'm going to do a couple cat and cow movements. I like this. It really warms up the spine a little bit. So on your next inhale, you're going to drop your chest, lengthen your rib cage forward, look up for cow pose. And then take your entire exhale around your spine toward your belly button for cat pose. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, look up. So you're lengthening your chest forward, then looking up. Take your entire exhale around. 2 more on your own breath. So go slow. Take your entire inhale to come up. Maybe pause there for a moment, feel it. And then take your entire exhale to round, really rounding your upper back, tailbone lengthening down. Pause here for a moment. Feel that. Good. Inhale, lift up on your own breath. And exhale, round. And then after your second time, go into child's pose, balasana. Arms can be out in front of you or down by your sides. Knees can be together or far apart. Forehead on the floor, or if you need it lifted, you can put it on a block, or you can fold up one of your towels and put your forehead on that. On your next inhale, reach your arms out in front of you, and you might have to look up at your hands and make sure your hands are shoulder distance apart, and spread your fingers and press your hands down into the floor and lift your elbows up, and then draw your upper arms under. So your triceps aren't pointing out, they're pointing under. And then your next inhale, lift yourself back up to tabletop. Step your right foot back, so in the ball of your right foot, and press your right thigh up. So you don't want your right knee bent. You want your right leg to be nice and straight. And think about your hip bones, okay, so your pelvis. Think about your hip bones scooping up towards your rib cage, so you're not arching in your lower back and making that vulnerable. And then just on your next exhale, just start to press your right heel back. And you'll feel a stretch in your calf, or you should. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Place your knee down, step your left foot back, come onto the ball of your left foot. Press your left thigh up. And then exhale, press your heel back. Good. Inhale, come back to the center, bring your knee down. We're going to do frog pose. And you don't have to go deep into this. It's a pretty intense hip opener and hip stretch. So what I want you to do is you're going to bring your knees out wide and just bring your feet together for now. You can also have your feet in line with your knees, but I like the version where I put my feet together, knees out wide. And just you can sit long ways on your mat. Unless you have carpet, that works too. And then just bring your hands down in front of you and sit up tall. And then what you're going to do from here is you're going to start to walk your hands out and lift your hips up. And you're going to get your hips in line with your knees. So it will look something like this. Okay, so your hips lined up with your knees. Arms are in one line for now. Keep your chest long. And then all you're going to do is you're going to start to rock back to your heels. And then rock as far forward as you feel good. Okay, you don't want to go so far that it feels bad. And then just do that a few times, rocking forwards and backwards. And then after about 3 or 4 times, just pause in the middle and maybe you can go down a little bit further. Maybe your knees can go out a little bit wider. And then repeat. And you're going really slow. This isn't about how low you can go. I know there's a song on that, but that's not what it's about. It's just about seeing where your limitations are and working there. And then pause in the middle. Maybe you can go a little bit further. If you feel you're at a spot where this is as far as you can go, just stay there in the middle with your knees and hips in one line. And you can stay here on your hands, or you can come down to your forearms. And we're just going to be here for a moment. If you need to come out at any point in time, you can. There, your next inhale, come up to your hands if you're not already there. And then slowly come back, hips to heels. Walk your hands back. Slowly bring your knees together. Kick your feet out in front of you. Staying in that where we're opening up our hips, I want you to take 2 of your towels, if you have them. If you don't, that's fine. And you're going to fold it like this. Okay, so one way and then this way. And you want to make sure that your edges line up at the bottom. And then put that down, and you're going to flatten it out and iron it out so there's no wrinkles or creases. And then starting from the folded and smooth edge, tuck and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. So you have a nice little small bolster. Well, so you should have 2 of these small little rolls. And again, if you don't have blankets, that's fine. Mine's not going to look that great. That's okay. Tuck and roll. Okay, now what I'm going to do from here is I want you to place one roll on one side of your mat, the other roll on the other side of your mat. You're going to bring your feet together, and then you're going to kind of angle the rolls so they support your legs in Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. So it looks like this from the front. Okay, so you should feel supported by your rolls. If your legs are up really high and they don't even touch your rolls, you can roll 2 towels together to make a bigger bolster. You can also use your blocks if you have them instead, where you angle them at an angle under your knee, like so. Okay, so that's also an option. So one of those 2 things you can do, and if you don't have anything at all, just have your knees apart and then come down to your backs. And if this is too stressful and you don't have any props, you can just bring your knees up and bring your knees into touch. That's fine too. And just have your arms by your sides. You're just going to take a few breaths here. So having the props under you, it provides support while you naturally kind of open up. And then next inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling, and exhale, bring your arms behind your head, but don't let your arms touch the floor. Just hover like 2 inches above the floor. Reach your fingertips back. Draw your ribcage toward your hip bones. Pretend like you're holding a block between your hands behind your head, and kind of press into that imaginary block. Keep your arms straight. Keep reaching your fingertips back. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands down behind your knees, and then use your hands to guide your knees up. Just allow your props to be wherever they are. Good. And then from here, just roll over to your right side and use your top hand to press yourself up to sitting. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So come onto your hands and knees. Spread your fingers, turn your hands out. Tuck your toes under. And then on your next inhale, just lift your knees up an inch off the floor. Keep your spine long. And then on your exhale, keep your knees bent and your heels lifted as you start to lift your hip bones up towards the ceiling. So think about your tailbone reaching high up towards the ceiling. If you want to move your feet back a little bit to make your stance longer, you can. Hands should be shoulder distance apart. So if you want to look at your hands, make sure that they are shoulder distance apart. You can do that. Press your hands down into the floor and lift away. So if you think about your hands pressing down, but then you're lifting your elbows, shoulders up, all the way up to your tailbone. Keep your knees bent and lift your heels up a lot. And that will allow you to really lift your tailbone. Good. On your next inhale, slowly walk your hands to your feet. Walking your hands back to your feet. Feet are hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lift up halfway lengthen. Place your hands on your shins or your upper thighs. Slight bend in your knees, firming your outer hips in, lengthening your chest forward. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway lengthen again. Shins or upper thighs. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head, reaching your fingertips up, lifting your torso. Slight bend in your knees, exhale, forward fold, swan dive. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Right arm comes down, left arm reaches over. Inhale, come to the center, and exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come to the center, exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And then exhale, walk your hands out. So bend your knees as much as you need to. Hands on the floor, walk your hands out to plank. So you're in a plank position. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Drop your drawing in and back. Shift your weight forward, slowly lower down to the floor. Get your hands underneath your shoulders. So think about your wrists lining up with your elbows. Chin on the mat. Tops of your feet pressing down into the floor. Press down into all 10 toes. Draw your upper arms in. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Lift up to baby cobra. And exhale, release. Come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. Draw your upper arms in. Lift your hands up an inch off the floor. Keep lengthening your chest forward. And exhale, release, come down. Inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look to your hands. Walk your feet to your hands. Look down at your feet. Make sure they're hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Again, just keeping a slight bend in your knees. And exhale, forward fold. This time, inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Reach your fingertips up. And then exhale, your hips go back, coming into Utkatasana or chair pose. So you want to think about your knees still being in line with your ankles. Okay, so you're just sitting your hips back. So it's like you're standing. It's just your hips are going back and down like you're sitting in that chair. And then from the front, think about what your arms are doing. So draw your upper arms under. Pretend like you have a block between your hands and you're pressing your hands into that block. Press down into all four corners of your feet. Really press your heels down into the floor. Good. Keep breathing. Inhale, stand straight up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back. Come into a lunge. So it looks like this, the runner's lunge. If you need to put your hands on blocks, this is where blocks come in handy. You can have blocks underneath your hands to give you a little bit of a lift and support. Place your left knee on the floor. And your left knee should be behind you, okay? So you don't want your left knee underneath of your left hip. It should be behind you. And again, if you feel any discomfort in your knees when they're on the ground, you can put a blanket or a towel underneath of them. Untuck your back toes and press the back foot down. And what that does is it helps lift up your knee a little bit, so that way you don't have a lot of pressure in your knee. Right knee and ankle are in one line. And then move your right foot over to the right, maybe just one time, just so it's in line with your right hip. Inhale, come up onto your fingers, whether you're on the floor or on your blocks. And then your next inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. And then from here, I want you to think about lifting up 1 to 2 inches from your hips. So that way you're not sinking down into your thigh and into your hip so much. So lift up a little bit. You'll feel your legs engage. And then draw your hip bones up towards your rib cage. So your pelvis is going forward and up. Keep breathing. Good. On your next inhale, lift up a little bit more, and then maybe exhale, do a slight back bend, reaching back. Good. Place your hands down to frame your right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up. And then step your left foot forward to meet your right foot. Forward fold. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, hands on your hips. Okay, and then from here, good. Lift your left knee up off the floor. Lift your left knee up, foot up off the floor. Flex your left foot. Firm your hips in. Just place your hands on your hips for now. And you can look down and place your fingers right where your hip bones are. And that will help you to see what you're doing with your hips. Sometimes we lift up our one hip over the other. So you want to keep your hips in the same line. Good. Keep breathing. Okay, exhale, put your foot down for a second. Take a little bit of a break. Okay, and then come back to that. From here, from your left hip socket, turn your left leg out and then place your foot on your calf for tree pose. If this is not working, bring your left toes to the floor, heel resting on your ankle. If you have a wall nearby, you can also just place one of your hands on the wall for support. Place your hands together to heart center. Keep lengthening your tailbone down and lift up from the sides of your waist. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, reach your arms up. Again, you can always bring your toes to the floor. Draw your upper arms under if your arms are straight. Firm your outer right hip in, but don't lift your left hip up at the same time. Press down into all 4 corners of your right foot. Big toe mound, small toe mound, the 2 corners of your heel. Good. And now bring your hands to heart center. Take your left knee, bring it center, flex your foot, and then extend your leg out in front of you. Press your heel forward. Maybe lift your leg up a little bit higher, but you don't have to. Keep lifting your chest up. Good. Exhale, come down. All right, you can shake that out, and do a little shake like this. That's fine too. Okay, and then come to the top of your mat and find stillness in Tadasana, mountain pose. Lengthening your tailbone towards the floor, lifting up from the sides of your waist, turning your arms out from your shoulders. So instead of just turning your palms forward, roll your shoulders. So you're rolling your shoulders back, then palms point forward. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. And exhale, forward. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your right foot back, come into your lunge. So you want a long-ish stance. You don't want it short, so your tailbone's pointing up. You don't want it, so far back that it feels stressful. All right, and then place your right knee to the floor. And you can move your left foot to the left, maybe just one time, just so you get it in line with your left hip, and both feet are in their own lane. And again, you can always have blocks under your hands here. Then inhale, come up onto your fingertips. Make sure that your right knee is behind you. Untuck your back toes, press down into your right foot, and then inhale, reach your arms up. Drawing your upper arms under, keeping your arms straight, and then lifting up like an inch. And you'll feel everything fire up. Keep breathing. Okay, your next inhale, lift up. Maybe on your exhale, you're doing a slight back bend. And then bring your hands under frame your left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up off the floor, and then step your right foot forward to meet your left foot. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Other side, tree pose, Vrikshasana. Put all the weight into your left foot. Okay. Place your hands on your hips. And then lift your right knee up, right foot flexed, pointing towards the floor. Firm your outer hips in. Keep lifting up from the sides of your waist. So think about a string up here. I say this a lot. And think about pulling up. So that way you're pressing down into your left foot, but you're lifting away from the floor. Keep breathing. Okay, exhale, put your foot down. And then inhale, lift your foot up again. Okay, now from your right hip socket, turn your right leg out and then place your foot on your calf. And if that balance isn't working, that's fine. You can always bring your toes to the floor, heel resting on your ankle. And again, if you have a wall, you can use that for support. Pretend like this is my wall. And then bring your hands together to heart center. And so what this does as you're in this position, so instead of just telling you to point your knee out to the side, I tell you to rotate from your hip socket and then place your foot there, because this is going to determine your range of motion from your hip socket. Some people, it's very short. Some people, it's longer. We're all very different. And then from here, you can stay here or reach your arms up. Drawing your upper arms under. Pretend like you have that block between your hands. And then one thing you can do is you don't have to have your arms all the way up by your ears, because sometimes that forces us to lift our shoulders up. So you can bring them a little bit forward of your ears. And just keep breathing. And smile, because everyone always has like one of those faces in this pose that they just want to, I don't know, they look angry, mean, because they're focusing so hard. So just smile. And then bring your hands together at heart center. Take your right knee, bring it center, flex your foot. Extend your leg out in front of you. Press your heel forward. Maybe lift your leg up a little bit higher, but you don't have to. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down. I felt that one. You can roll it out, shake it out. Give your body a little shake. And come to the top of your mat into mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back, come into a lunge. Spin your back heel down to the floor, bring your back toes in slightly. So your back foot is at an angle, heel is on the floor. Draw your right buttock under you. Press your inner right thigh to the right. Keep your knee bent. Inhale up to warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So your right knee is bent over your right ankle, toes pointing forward. Left thigh pressing back. I kept this heel to heel alignment just for balance. You can always make it a little bit wider, or you can bring your right foot in to the left 1 or 2 steps so you have heel to arch alignment, your choice. The same down into your right knee, and don't let your knee go past your ankle. Make your stance a little bit longer if that's happening. Get your arms in one line and reach your fingertips away from each other. So engage your arms, take them to the party, and then gaze over your front middle finger. Press down into the outer edge of your left foot. Keep drawing your right buttock under and keep pressing your inner right thigh to the right. That keeps your knee straight. Flip your front palm, come to reverse warrior. Reach your right arm up, reach it back. Left arm just resting on your back thigh. Good, keep pressing your inner right thigh to the right. Exhale, come up to warrior 2. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Keep your arms where they are. Exhale, bend your front knee. Inhale, straighten, reach your arms up. And exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, place your hands down and frame your right foot. Back heel comes up off the floor, so you're looking that lunge. Step your right foot back, come into plank. Drop your knees right where they are. Draw your upper arms under, slowly lower all the way down. Good, untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down. Draw your upper arms in, inhale, lift up, baby cobra. And again, you're not just lifting and doing a back bend, you're lengthening forward, then lifting up. Creating space in your lower back. Keep pressing down to the tops of your feet. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra again. And exhale, release, come down. Good, inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and exhale, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. You can always go to child's pose if you need to. And slowly lift to your hands and walk your feet to your hands. All the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your right foot back, come into that lunge. Spin your right heel down to the floor. Bring your toes in, your back toes. And then left knee is bent over your ankle, toes pointing forward. Inhale up to warrior two. Sinking down into your left knee. And again, you don't want it to go past your ankle. You want it to keep in line with your ankle. Reaching your arms away from each other, lifting up from your waist. And get your rib cage to point towards the front. Press your right thigh back. Breathe. And then look down at your front knee, your left knee, and see what's happening to your knee. Is it caving in? So you want it to go right over your second toe. So draw your left buttock under and press your inner left thigh to the left. That's the muscular action that will help you to get that to go straight. Good, your next inhale, flip your front palm, come to reverse warrior, reach your left arm up, reach it back. You're really lifting up, keeping both arms straight. Sink down a little bit more into your left knee. Keep pressing your inner left thigh to left. And then exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten your front leg, reach your arms up, breathe in. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten your front leg, keep your arms where they are. And exhale, warrior two. Breathe in. And then exhale, bring your hands under frame your left foot. Step your left foot back. Drop your knees down right where they are. Slowly lower all the way down. Elbows are in towards the middle of your body. Don't let them flare out. Okay, this time, untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down. Bring your arms in front of you, like to the front of your mat, and place one hand on top of the other. And then place your forehead on top of your hands. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Feet are about hip bone distance apart. Press down to all 10. Press forward. Lift your head and chest up off the floor and your arms. So your hands are still connected to your forehead. Keep breathing. Reach your toes back. And then exhale, release, come down. Good. Switch to the hand that's on top. Bring your forehead back down to your hands. Press down into your feet. Inhale, lift your arms, head, neck, chest up. Keep lengthening your chest forward. Keep lengthening your tailbone down towards your heels. Press your heels back. Point your toes back. Inhale, lift your legs up a couple inches. For Shalabhasana, locust pose variation. Think about your inner thighs rotating up. Good. Exhale, slowly come down. You can release your arms down by your sides. Just turn one cheek to one side and relax here for a moment. Next inhale, just bend your knees so your feet are up. And then just very slowly, windshield wiper your feet side to side. Slowly. Again, then come to the center, bring your feet down. Bend your elbows, place your hands by your shoulders. Inhale, press yourself up to tabletop and come back to sitting. Okay, and then if you have blocks, if you can grab your blocks, just have them nearby towards like the back of your mat because you're about to go down on the ground. Hold on one second. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then from here, I want you to place one of the blocks between your upper thighs, like so. If you don't have blocks, you don't need them. It's just something to think about. Maybe you want to get them. If you have a book or something, you can put that there too, but you want it so that your knees are still in line with your hips. Hip bone distance apart. Feet are hip bone distance apart under your knees. And then take that other block and place it between your palms like so. And again, if you don't have one, you can just pretend like you're holding one. That's fine. You don't really need it. Okay, so hands to each side of your block. And just bring your elbows down to the ground for now with your hands up. Good. And then on your next inhale, press your thighs into your block between your knee or between your thighs, or pretend like you're pressing your thighs in and reach your arms up. Okay. And then on your next inhale, you're going to lift your hips up, bring the block behind you, arms go behind your head. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of your knees as you press your thighs in. All right, so you don't want your tailbone pointing down. You want it lengthening towards the backs of your knees. Chest point or drawing towards your chin. Good. Exhale, bring everything down. Arms come up and down. Inhale, lift up. Reach your arms back as you lift your hips up. Lengthen your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Press your feet down. Draw your heels back towards your body. And exhale, slowly come down. Rolling down. Think about your tailbone being the last thing to touch. Inhale, lift up. Block goes up and then back. Reaching your fingertips back. Try to hover the block about 2 inches above the floor. Think about your back ribs pressing into your front ribs. And exhale, lowering everything down, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Good. Go ahead and remove the blocks. And then bring your arms down by your sides. Your hands are on the floor, and you're pressing your arms down, pressing your shoulders down. And lift your hips up just a little bit so you can lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, and then bring your hips back down. Press your feet down into the floor. Press your arms down. Inhale, just lift your hips up this time. Lengthening your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Just coming up about 50 to 60%. Good. Pretend like you still have that block between your thighs and you're pressing your thighs into that block and trying to get the block to rotate down towards the floor. Press your heels down. And on your next inhale, press your shoulders down and really start to lift your chest with your hips. Chest drawing towards your chin. Keep lengthening your tailbone towards the backs of your knees, scooping your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. Press your thighs in. Breathing. Draw your heels back, so feel your heels drawing back towards your body. And exhale, slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Okay, bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Bring your knees into touch. And then from here, extend your right leg to the floor. Flex your right foot. And then just lift your left leg up so your knee is in line with your hip. You're not really drawing it in right now. And flex your left foot. If you have one of those blocks, if you can put it to the right side of your body, we're going to have your knee on that in a second. And then bring your arms out into a T shape. And then take your right hand and grab the outside of your left knee. And then your next exhale, you're going to drop your knee to the right side. So you're coming into a twist. And then that block is there to rest your knee on. You could also put it on 2 blocks. If you have any kind of back pain or issues or conditions, and you don't want to go as deep into a twist, you can kind of stack it up. And think about your left shoulder drawing towards the floor. So lengthen through your left fingertips as you bring your left knee down towards the right. Good. Inhale, slowly come back to the center. Bring your left leg down. Bring your right knee up. So you're getting your right knee in line with your right hip. And then you can move your blocks to the left side. However many blocks you used on that other side, you can use on this side as well. Arms out into a T shape. Flex your right foot. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee. And then you're just going to start to drop your right knee over to the left. Again, you can put your knee on a block if you like. And think about reaching out for your right fingertips, right shoulder going towards the floor as your right knee goes to the left. And I personally like to just look up straight. If it doesn't feel bad on your neck, you can turn your head to point your head in the opposite direction of your right knee. And then inhale, slowly come to the center. Go ahead and draw both knees into your chest. Hold on behind your thighs and rock yourself up to sitting. And then from here, you can take those rolls, if you have them. If you don't need them. And you're going to and bring your legs together and just have the rolls under your knees to support you. And then the other thing you can do, if you have that third towel, you can put it underneath of your sit bones to sit on, and you would sit on like the very edge of it. And then just bring your fingertips down by your sides and think about pressing your legs together and then gently pressing them down. Flexing your feet, press your heels forward, draw your toes back, lift your chest up. Good, exhale, release that. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to remove those rolls. So you want to keep the rolls if you go to straighten your legs and your lower back starts to round. You can always elevate, lift your knees up, and you can see what that did to my lower back. My legs are straight. I'm kind of over exaggerating, but this is kind of what happens. Versus when you bend your knee, it allows your lower back to start to go back to its natural curve. You don't want your lower back to necessarily round. So you can always keep those rolls underneath of your knees. Okay, so if you want to use your strap, we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, which is like a forward fold, sitting down. You can put the strap around the balls of your feet. I like to teach it with just having your hands down to frame your legs. Okay, so either way is fine. You're just going to hold on to both sides of that belt or strap that you have. Keep your feet flexed, and then inhale, reach your arms up. If you're holding onto your strap, just stay there, but lift your chest up. And then your exhale, think about your chest going forward, and then just bring your hands down to frame your legs. And again, you can have a slight bend in your knees. Keep your spine long, especially your lower back. And then from here, you can start to walk your hands a little bit more towards your toes. I don't know if your animal is getting in the way, just like mine is right now. Keep lengthening your torso on your inhale. And then on your exhale, reaching a little bit more towards your toes. And then if you are close enough to your feet to where you can very gently grab onto them, you can do that. but you don't want to pull yourself to get you somewhere that your body's not naturally going when you use your muscles. Good. Inhale, slowly come up. Cross your legs, come into a comfortable seated position. And then we're going to do Garudasana arms or eagle arms. It's kind of weird at first. But bring your arms out into a T shape. And then from here, we're going to do our right side first. Your right arm goes underneath your left. And then you're going to twist your arms around, trying to get your palms to match up. If they don't, that's fine. Other variations, you can bring the backs of your hands together. Or if you have a lot of shoulder tension or injury, you can just kind of, do something like this or something like this, where you hold your shoulders or just hold your elbows. Okay, same thing. But just look at your forearms, gaze in front of you. Lift your elbows up so your triceps are parallel to the floor. Keep lifting your torso up, pressing your sit bones down. Inhale, release that, bring your arms onto a T shape, and exhale, switch sides. Left arm underneath your right. Again, trying to get your palms to match up, or just the backs of your hands, or doing a different variation if you have any kind of injuries. Good. Inhale, reach your arms out to a T shape. Exhale, release your hands down. We're going to come into a twist, a simple twist. So your next inhale, just reach your arms up to the ceiling. And your exhale, you're going to twist to your right. So your right hand comes behind you, resting your left hand on your right knee, lifting your torso up, and then your exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. Inhale, come to the center, reach your arms up. Exhale, twist to your left. Left arm comes behind you on your fingertips, right hand resting on your outer left knee. And on each inhale, you're lifting. And now your exhale, you're using your core to twist you. Inhale, come back up to the center. Exhale, release your hands down. Coming into our final pose, getting ready for Shavasana, our final rest pose. Have your rolls nearby. Have your blocks nearby, just in case you want to use them for Shavasana. But come down to your backs. Option 1, happy baby pose. So you're going to lift your feet up. You're going to grab onto your outer feet, inner feet, your big toes, behind your thighs, wherever it's accessible for you to hold. Feet are pointing up towards the ceiling. Knees are right to the outside of your ribs. Relaxing your shoulders and pressing your sacrum down, which is by your tailbone. And then drawing your knees down. If you don't like that, you can do a figure 4 or a reverse pigeon, where you put one ankle over your knee, draw your knee in. And then when you're ready, you can finish with any other stretch that you prefer. We're going to come into Shavasana. So option 1, you can put the rolls underneath of your knees, extending your legs down. You can use your third towel and you just roll it up a few times and just put that right under the curve of your neck, and it just supports that curve. So that's an option for you. You can, if it doesn't feel too stressful and just make sure that it's supported, you can do Baddha Konasana with your knees out, feet together. You can do legs up the wall if you like as well. Whatever variation of Shavasana you would like to do, put yourself there now and find stillness. Arms down by your sides. Flip your palms up. Allow your fingers to naturally curl. Relax Allow your feet to just naturally hang open. Feel the ground beneath you. And feel the parts of your body that are currently touching the ground. And relax those parts of your body, allowing the ground to support you. Releasing the tension. Closing your eyes and returning to your breath. Slowly start to deepen your breathing. Just move your fingers and toes, circle your wrists and your ankles. And very slowly roll over to any side and pause it for a moment. And using your top hand, slowly press yourself up to sitting and come to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. And then once you're there, bring your hands together to heart center. Sit up tall and close your eyes. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in every one of you. And we bow to complete our practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to say, I think Saturdays are my favorite days. I just love the meditation aspect. So, we're going to keep that going. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll have the schedule out for next week tomorrow. Again, you can view it on Yoga More Facebook Live or through HQ Yoga YouTube channel as well. And then I'm also going to be putting together a Zoom call. That's going to be, I think, like a $5 donation. Animals are invited. That's kind of the point of it. But if you don't have animals, you can still come. But it's just an opportunity to do some yoga with our pets and for me to be able to see you all. And we can practice together. So keep an eye open for that. I'll be putting that together as well. Can't wait to see you guys again. If you have any questions, let me know. If you'd like me to work on anything specifically, let me know. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Namaste.